Welcome to another show of Food Talk with Sauresh Bhattacharya. And we have a very special guest today. Her name is Salma Hussain.
These emperors who ruled India for so many years, they must have built something, and the food is an art, and everybody talks about the Mughlai food even today. But when came Akbar, he was not that meat eater. He used to abstain eating meat twice a week. He will also abstain meat for the whole of October, which was the month of his birth. Mughal kings had a sweet tooth. You will see in Mr. Shahjani, I think, they used to dip shami kebab into sugar syrup and then they used to eat that.
Hi everyone, I'm Suhasini Sood. Welcome to We the Chefs Food Talk with Sauresh. We the Chefs is an online aggregator for home chefs with presence in Delhi NCR and Bangalore. We have partnered with more than 300 chefs who are excited and keen to bring their food and share it with all of you. We make this happen by collecting hot, authentic, freshly prepared food from their doorsteps and delivering it to you. In this series, Sauresh will be talking to a different chef every week. They will be sharing their food journey with us, how their love for food started, what they've learned along the way, and their dreams and ambitions. They will also be giving us great insights into the cuisine that they love. So let's get started.
Welcome to another show of Food Talk with Sauresh Bhattacharya. And we have a very special guest today. Her name is Salma Hussain. We normally interview home chefs, but today we are very privileged to have a great writer, chronicler of food history, and someone who has brought the cuisine of the Mughal times alive in her books. We'll talk about that. But Salma Appa, welcome to We the Chef's House, and welcome to our YouTube channel, which number of subscribers is growing. It's a young channel, but it's getting increasing following as the days pass by. The reason why we have Salma Appa with us in the studio is this book out there, Alwan-e-Nemat. Now, this is a Persian cookbook, a Persian manuscript, which dates back to the time of Jahangir. And it has plenty of insights. But we are not only going to talk about this book, we are also going to talk about Salma Appa's journey through Mughal history and the way she has dredged out cookbooks from the archives and brought them to us, to our homes. So welcome to the show, Salma Appa.
Thank you very much, Sauresh.
And let's begin with Alwan-e-Nemat, your journey.
Let me thank you people. I must thank you YouTube. I must thank the people. I have been invited here by you, and I have to thank you. I think that most because you are the first one. When I completed this book, you were the first one to write about it in 2004 and propagate this book. So I must thank you for that. And I think that journey is quite long, from 400 to 2024. So then we'll talk about the book and how I went. I have done my master's degree in Persian language, and my first job with the National Archives of India to translate the Persian correspondence between the local Nawabs, Rajas and the British officers into English for the foreign scholars and bring the handbooks and all that. Then I started working on it. From there I got promotion and I went to the Ministry of Education. We were working on the Gazetteers of India, middle of the Mughal chapter. They asked me to work on it. And still I was with the Minister of Education. I got a call from the All India Radio. Mr. P.C. Chatterjee was the Director General of the All India Radio External Services. And he asked me that we have started a program on the Afghanistan, but we are not getting any response. Why don't you join us and please help us out? That's how I got into more and more into Persian. But while doing my research in archives, I thought that these emperors who ruled India for so many years, they must have built something, and the food is an art. And everybody talks about the Mughlai food even today. We go to any restaurant, they say Mughli khana khayenge also. Chalo. So, did they leave anything? Those who can make Lal Killa, those who can make Taj Mahal, must have left something behind. So, my research began from there.
And interestingly, you were not I've known you now for about more than 30 years, and I've always known you as a food specialist. Yeah, but you began as a historian and translator.
I began as a historian.
Yeah.
And I went through all the catalogs in the Library of National Archives of India and tried to find out where can I get. And finally, I found somebody called Dr. Naseem Akhtar, who was a casual announcer who used to come to All India Radio in the Persian program. He told me that, why don't you come and see our catalog? Maybe I'll help you out. And there we found Alwan-e-Nemat.
And so now coming back to Alwan-e-Nemat, because you talked about how you found the book, the manuscript, and you started working on it. So these recipes date back to the time of Jahangir. And how do you bring these recipes to life 300-400 years later? How do you do it?
One can.
Right.
See, as I mentioned in this, that this was written years back, and those days they never had any spices except the four. But now we want that khara. Our palate has changed. We are not very happy with a very bland food. So we can use a little bit of chili that we can use to improve the taste of but we can use the same technique, how it was made, and we can add little more spices and make it more palatable. So it was not very difficult to make it.
The Mughal emperors, contrary to popular notion, were mostly, they really relished vegetarian food, and many days of the year they were vegetarian.
It is said that the Mughals were the meat eaters. No, it's not correct. Babur never ate any of he was very happy with his own food. Humayun had the Iranian food. So, but when came Akbar, he was not that meat eater. He used to abstain eating meat twice a week. He will also abstain meat for the whole of October, which was a month of his birth. And same came with the Jahangir. When Jahangir took over from his father, he started abstaining from meat once in a week.
I think this was because of the influence of the Rajput queens.
Yeah.
Who were there, and Jahangir's mother was a Rajput queen after all.
And then Jahangir also said that on the day when he is not eating, that was mostly, I think if I remember, the Thursday, no slaughterhouse was open. It was no zabiha was done on that day. So it is not true that they were just meat eaters and they produced nothing, but no, they also had a vegetarian food, and you will find in that lots of things about dal is there, saag chawla is there.
Like in fact, in your cookbook, Alwan-e-Nemat, I see so many khichdi recipes,
Khichdi recipes.
And you were saying that is the Gujarati influence, sir?
Because he used to travel all over. He was in Gujarat for quite some time, and he had a jeweler called Shantidas, who was very close to him, and he was also a financier of the emperor. And when the imperial kitchen realized that the king is so close to him, they started working and researching about the Gujarati food. But they had to make it palatable to the emperor. How to make it palatable? If they make the pure Gujarati food, it will not be the palatable to the king. But they made it, and Jahangir loved the khichdi of Bajra. And then he called the Mir Makawal and he says that I have enjoyed eating this Gujarati food, so maybe we can have in our imperial kitchen more of the Gujarati food. And that is how more of the recipes of Gujarati food are appearing, because the chefs started making more and more Gujarati food, but they turned the simple Gujarati khichdi into exotic khichdi.
So how did they make it exotic? How did they make the khichdi exotic?
They started using meat in that.
Okay.
They started using dry fruit in that. They started coloring the rice with the saffron, and they make it more and more, but it remained khichdi.
It was khichdi, but they added mutton, maybe dry fruit.
Yeah. And also they started making badi, khandvi. How badi is made with the moong dal, and as we know it. But they started making it with the fruit juices. You will find badi, kele ki badi ban rahi hai, orange ki badi ban rahi hai. So they started using the juices of these fruits and started making. They also started making khandvi. Then they made Gujarati malida, which was again a sweet dish in which they had the roti and they had the gur and they had lots of dry fruit. And Gujarati malida was also became very, very common sweet dish in that. Because see, the Mughal kings had a sweet tooth. You will see in Nusrat Shahjani, I think, they used to dip Shami kebab into sugar syrup. And then they used to eat that. So they had a sweet tooth and they gave us lots of halwas. Today we have got the stove hai, microwave hai, ovens hai, and all that is there. Good old days, the food was cooked only on chula. Good old days, first it was lakdi, and then time increased, we went further, then we started using koila. And then how to control the fire, how to control the heat, because the food is best cooked on the low heat. So the pankhas came. The pankhas were there and the chulas were there of mitti, and they had a window. If you see the old chulas,
Oh, that's why they used to,
they used to fan it.
yeah, they used to fan the flame.
Yeah,
You literally fan the flames, you know.
If you want to have very sim, very
Right.
low, fan it once.
Right.
Then you want to have medium, so you fan it twice.
Right.
And then you want to have more, then you fan it 3-4 times. And that is how. And another, the heat was there. They controlled the heat, but the bartan was also of the same type. Nowadays we are cooking in patilas, which are like this, and the heat goes only in the center. But they used to have the round.
Right. Right.
They used to have round bartan in which the heat used to go from
Equally distributed.
Yeah.
huh?
So, and also they gave us dhungar, that is
Yes.
smoking.
Smoking.
How to smoke. They used to have the keema or meat or whatever it is. And not even that, even the vegetable like baigan ka bharta. They gave us bhartas because the Turkey had immense of, I think, 101 recipes of baigan. So they gave us bharta and they gave us the tradition of dhungar, the smoking of
Right.
the thing, and which make it more palatable and it gave a different kind of a flavor.
It's interesting that you're talking about the smoking, and if you see Bihar's cuisine, because we had a conversation about it sometime back here at Be the Chef's house. Bihar's cuisine has a lot of what are known as chokas. So smoked brinjal or smoked tomato. Obviously, this this culture sort of spread and went down.
Once you see, food is a evolution. It's a big canvas
Right.
in which you fill your own colors. And then we have in India, we have so many regions
Right.
where the local thing, local ingredients and local produce are there. And people started using it. They tried to give it a different flavors. And
So, it's interesting, you're talking about flavors. Now, Indian food did not have a lot of the flavors that we associate with it now. For instance, so Noor Jahan, was Jahangir's consort, and she was virtually ruling India in her time. She had a lot to contribute to India's cuisine,
to the imperial
to the imperial kitchen. And you mentioned that in your book, Alwan-e-Nemat. What are her contributions?
See, today we go to supermarket and we are looking for a fruit yogurt. Children are very fond of fruit yogurt and we bring lots of fruit yogurts and they are on the supermarket. How they came? They are not today. Nurja brought them. We got it from her. She used to make fruit yogurt Jahangir style in 16th, 17th century. And the fruit yogurt has traveled from all the way then to our supermarket. She used to take a bowl which has conical, partition them with sun mica, and they used to put the fruit juices into it, and they put a little bit of jaman of yogurt into that. When that is set, then the lukewarm milk was put in that and kept away in a warm place to jammo. When it was set, then mica was removed and it was presented to the table. So she used to have, now we get in cups, she used to have in one bowl with a 5 to 6 kind of fruit yogurts were there and it was presented.
So do you have the recipe in Alwan-e-Nemat?
We have.
Oh, okay.
We have.
This
We have
seems
the
a
recipe.
very fascinating. It must be a visual
Yeah.
delight as much as a.
Imagine.
Now, what were the spices that the Mughals used, which were not used by the Persians or in Central Asia
Mughals
of the
used
time?
only 4 spices. One was the kishnis, that is dhania. They had ginger, that is adrak. They had black pepper.
Right.
And then they had saffron.
So
The colour
saffron,
was
black pepper, coriander, and ginger. These are recipes. These are just because they originated in the Mughal court at the time of Jahangir, doesn't mean that regular people cannot reproduce this food in their kitchens. I mean, these are the way you've written the recipes. you have simplified the cooking and explained it so well that it can actually be reproduced in anyone's house.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So
And we can use a little bit of more little color or spices in it.
thank you so much, Salma. You have really enriched us and given us so much to mull over and think about. I look forward to your next book and many more books, hopefully, in the days and years to come. And we hope that we the chefs will be able to work with you and produce some magic
I would
together.
be very happy to work with you. I have always admired you, and I think you were the first one who promoted me, which I will never forget. And I think if you had not written that, people would not have known me also. I would have remained only a Persian scholar. And when I was doing my MA, my friend used to say, oh, Persian में MA कर लिया, पढ़ो फारसी बेचो तेल. So I said, अब ये हो गया है कि पढ़ो फारसी पकाओ तेल. So I started making pakao तेल and with my MA. But you are the one who promoted me, for which I'm ever grateful to you.
Thank you.
And I hope we continue working together. And as you said, I must continue my research for
Right.
the further cookbooks to find out.
Thank you so much.
Press the like, subscribe, and bell icon, and don't forget to order from We the Chefs to taste the stories of our home chefs.